The thing that worried me the most was that I wasn't going to be able to afford it, and me just expecting it to be something that my budget wasn't going to be able to handle. That was probably the scariest thing about the entire process. It's always this concern of like, is it going to work out for me? It worked out for others, but is it going to work out for me?
Cost is one of the biggest concerns people have about getting dental implants. So how are everyday people affording it? Well, today we're talking with Sharala about what actually made it possible for her. Let's dive in. So you had a lot of concerns about the cost, yet you still moved forward with it. What actually made you believe that this was possible for you?
Well, after speaking with the Smile consultant and talking about all of the different plans that were available, that I qualified for, then I started to see, okay, there is hope. Like, I don't necessarily have to have this full cost up front. It is something that I could put into payment plans. And so I knew then that I had to invite in the B word into my life, which was budget.
And was there something about the place that you chose that you felt comfortable moving forward with them specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it is what happens is when somebody exudes like confidence and passion in their product and their process, then you can have that confidence too. I saw just exactly how it was everybody at Nuvia from the first time I walked in the door, how they treated me, to the thoroughness of them explaining the entire process to me, and even going through the treatment plan that they had outlined for me, and then going through with all the cost and how to take care of that through payments. I mean, it was so easy for me to just be okay with it because I knew they had my back. That was the biggest thing. I didn't feel like they were setting me up for failure. I felt like they had nothing but my best interest at heart. The other thing that really did help me a lot with making this decision was that the time for the procedure, right? 24 hours that was great. But also the price was comprehensive. It included everything. It included all appointments. It included every exam that I needed, all the materials, the surgery, the anesthesiology. I mean, there was no nickel and diming. It was all included in that price that was presented during the consultation. So
Wow.
that was with the time of 24 hours and the fact that it was a comprehensive price and service. It was a no-brainer.
And what's happening in 24 hours?
24 hours, I was getting my permanent smile. So the first day I was going to go in, have my procedure, get my implants placed. And then the very next day I go back and I get my permanent smile.
Wow. So no temporary sets or anything, like you're actually going in the next day for your permanent set?
Next day, permanent teeth. These are the same teeth from the 24 hours later.
Incredible. Well, you did say one of the reasons why this made it feel possible for you was there was these financing options. You had payment plans. But people, are still like, okay, well, how do I make these payments each month? So I have to ask you, how do you afford them month to month? What does that look like? Did you have to change things around or?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was thinking like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? This is just another payment. Am I ready to make another payment on a loan? But once we looked at the budget, we started identifying like, okay, these are our bills and this is our, play money. So to say, this is the money that I have left over. I can go shopping. I can go eating. I can have my coffees. We could do date night. And I started realizing like how much we were spending on those things that were not our needs, but they were truly just our wants. And once we identified how much we were spending on date night alone, we were able to identify that, guess what? Now, half of our date night budget can spend for the tooth.
Wow. Simple as that, huh?
Simple as that. So now, it's not that we did away with date nights. We just do a little bit, more, what do we say? Informal date nights. We still have fancy date nights every now and then, but we don't need one every weekend, we don't need that. We can go do food trucks and, whatever, pizza night. It's really, date nights are really just about having fun together, doing something, being intentional with each other, right? And sometimes it is nice to go out and have something fancy, but it's not necessary to have every weekend. So we changed a
Right.
little bit, but it didn't change our love.
And did you ever think that, doing something this kind of minor would help you afford this? Like, was this something surprising to you?
It was very surprising. And I think it was surprising for my husband too, because when you're just doing things, you're just doing things and you don't even recognize like how much money, you're spending on some things, right? I've heard some people talk about like their fancy coffees or even like they were smokers and how much they were spending on their cigarettes. And you don't realize it's just a habit that you have in life or something that you do. And not until you really sit down and think about how much am I spending on these things every day? Like, where can I actually find money that I really don't need to spend, on those things?
Yeah.
It's much better to be invested in yourself and in your dental health. And even like, I talk about the date nights, like it didn't change our love. Well, the date nights didn't change our love, but guess what? These teeth did enhance our love because that was like an investment in something different, right? Because now I feel like I can do things better and I can be a better wife and show up better as a person, for my husband, just because now the confidence that has increased by getting them.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I love that. So you maybe you had to take a little bit away, but it also added a lot of value is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's incredible. And when you started mentioning like, hey, you might not realize little things that you're spending money on. I'm like, I've spent money on so many subscriptions that I forget about that I'm even using. I'm like, that is so much money that I could be spending towards something else. Right. So, I mean, honestly, you even saying that makes it feel like, oh, like more things could be possible for even me. So, I think that's super cool that you were able to find that in your budget and make this possible for yourself. I'm sure people are wondering too, like how much are these payment plans? Do they look the same for everybody? What does that look like?
Yeah, so they're going to be a little different for everyone just because everybody's cost is going to be different based off of their unique needs. And so the best way for you to find out, you can find out kind of a general cost with the Nuvia's cost guide. And that guide has lots of information about the process and even to give you just a roundabout figure that it would cost for, someone average. But for your specific cost, the consultation is going to be the best place for someone to go speak to a smile consultant and they will tell you your exact treatment plan and your exact price.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I have to ask you now, it's been over 3 years since you got your dental implants. Does the cost feel worth it to you? Is it worth making these payments? Was it worth getting all this done?
Absolutely. 100%. Life is 100% better than before. So I'm just so happy that I was able to choose me when I did. And I could not have expected so much to change, but it has been the best investment that I could have ever made.
And what's the most unexpected thing that's come from getting your dental implants?
Ooh, oh my goodness, so much.
I know I put you on the spot there.
I know, but so much. I always kind of go back with the confidence, but I think the confidence is like the underlying, the foundation that kind of propelled everything. So I would say probably the most surprising thing that has happened is the fact that now I am confident enough to actually fulfill one of my personal dreams and kind of goals in life. And that's to dive into my heart work. And that is helping others and helping workplaces and trying to reach people on a greater, larger platform. And so ever since having my full mouth dental implants, I've been able to open up my own channel to reach people globally. And so I think that's probably the most surprising.
That is so cool. You need to send me those details. I need to check it out. Well, it sounds like, at first you thought this might be something that wasn't possible or that you would it even be worth it? But you found a way, you made it happen. And here you are today, almost 2 years later, and you're kind of like, it's not really something I think about cost wise. And here you are enjoying the benefits. That is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience today. I know it's going to help others feel like, hey, maybe this is something I can actually afford. And if you're watching and still have questions about the cost or even the 24-hour process that Sharala mentioned, check out that cost guide in the description below. And until next time,
Keep smiling.